Hello, I want to welcome anyone who's stopping in and watching this. I hope this video gives you understanding. Hopefully, gives you some armor, some ammo. And understanding. Hopefully, helps you grow in faith. Understanding. God showed me something here. It's on the paper. You can marinate on this. What I'm showing you here. I'll explain that later in the video if you want to just look at that and see if the difference between trust in or put or place your trust in, if they look the same to you, if they're different, I'll let you just kind of marinate on that. Think about that while I'm talking here. I want to try to get straight to the point, but I have to give you the context, kind of show you how I got to here, or how it got me here, and how he gave me a revelation on something. So, I noticed that whoever I would talk to, if I'm talking to a Muslim, they call themselves Muslims. I'm not, anyway, whether they be from here, and they're born and raised and they're Muslim, or whether they live in another country and they're Muslim, I started noticing that a lot of them say the same thing. They might not even know each other, but a lot of them say the same thing. They kind of like use the same script. And obviously the Quran, I think it was written in 650 AD. Obviously, they took the Bible because they had no foundation. They just popped up in 650 AD. They used the Bible as their foundation, right? But they changed things, right? So obviously, they don't believe. They believe Jesus is just a prophet. They believe in the virgin birth of Jesus, but they don't believe he's the Son of God. That he's just a prophet, a messenger. Anyway, what I started happening was, I'd exchange, I'd send them, something, comment, they'd comment back, and this is across the board, and they don't even know each other. This is different platforms, stuff like that. So I noticed they always had a counter for everything I would say. If I said, well, you guys didn't show up till 650 AD, the Quran, they'll say, oh no, we've always been there. We just, the Torah, that was us. Abraham and all them, that was us. It's just the Bible was altered. It was wrong. And so I just started noticing they had a counter for everything, which is kind of a deceptively clever, like too deceptive. And I just started noticing, like, God, I'm just going in circles here. Because everything I say, they just throw it. They just say, oh no, that's us. That's us. Yeah, we believe in Jesus. A lot of common things I notice, a lot of the script they have is, they love to use, oh, we believe in Jesus. We love him more than you do, more than you guys do. That's a common thing they like to say. Like I said, they always want to counter with, no, that's us. We fixed the Bible, stuff like that. So I say, God, we're just going in circles here. So anyway, I kind of just left it alone because it kind of started turning into like a debate. And when God is who he is, it's like I didn't, it just wasn't what I was saying. We're just going in circles. So I kind of left that alone. And then one night I was going to sleep and, God said, trust in me, right? And I was like, wait, what? So I got up. I started looking throughout my Bible. And all throughout the Bible, it says, trust in God. Trust in the Lord, right? And to give you understanding, I was trying to, obviously, when I was going back and forth, I was looking to their Quran to find mistakes in their Quran, and they're trying to throw stuff back at me. I'm throwing stuff at them till I just kind of understood that. I was just kind of going in circles here until God gave me a revelation to break the circles. The circle stopped. So I started looking throughout the Bible, trust in God, trust in God, trust in the Lord. And then I looked in the Quran, throughout the Quran, it says, put or place your trust in Allah. So I was like, what's the difference? I was like, I don't see any difference, God. They're the same thing. I was like, oh, maybe it's just in my head. I laid back down and I don't know, after about 20, 30 minutes, I was like, no, anytime God spoke or speaks, he always backs it up with truth. So I was like, let me get up and go back in. So when I did, that's where he showed me the difference. and he showed me they're not the same. One's a truth and one's a deception. Also, too, I kind of missed something here. The reason I always considered that the Quran was written by Muhammad, like it was just him, and he just maybe had a dream or something, and so he wrote the Quran, and then I started noticing like this Quran is deceptively clever, like not in a admiration type of way, but in like this ain't written by a man. There's something's here, God. I was like, this is not right. So I went and looked into Muhammad a little bit. I seen in Muhammad's farewell sermon, I seen that he mentioned, he said there would be no new faith and no new prophet after him. So I was like, wait, that's a lie, because Joseph Smith, new prophet, new faith, and the Mormons came around in 1870. So I go, that's a lie already. Although Joseph Smith is a false prophet and a false faith, just like he claims basically the same thing Muhammad did. So I was like, wait, Muhammad? I was like, maybe he is telling the truth, but then who lied to him? So obviously, now we go to the Bible, and where God says that Satan's the author of false religions. It also says Satan's able to disguise himself as an angel of light, and that's where it started coming to me. And I was like, oh, okay, I see now. But getting back to the trust in and put or place your trust in, I was like, okay, God, what's the difference here? Because I can't see it. When my blind, at the time, my mind was kind of blind. I guess I just wasn't smart enough. I didn't know the difference. I couldn't see the difference. So God showed me the difference. So trust in is because God is able to be trusted in. He's able to earn our trust, right? He's a living God. He's able to earn our trust, and he's able to be trusted in, right? When you have to put or place your trust in someone, it's because they're not able to earn your trust, right? So, example, somebody comes to your house and at 2 a.m. and you don't know them, they're a stranger, they tell you to let them in. You have to put your trust in them and let them in. Obviously, we're talking spiritual here. So they can't get into your house unless you put your trust in them. So whatever their plans are, they can't move forward unless you put or place your trust in them, right? So that's where Satan comes in. This is where God's starting to show me. Satan comes. He wants access into your mind, right? So he can't do it without you putting your trust in Allah, right? So this is where he showed me the difference. Satan knows Allah doesn't exist, right? He's the author of the Quran. So that's why he asks Muslims or people to put or place their trust in Allah, because the moment they put or place their trust in Allah is the moment Allah exists in their mind. And the moment Allah exists in their mind it's a deception behind a deception, because once they put or place their trust in Allah, they're also putting their eternity in Satan's hands. So it's a deception behind a deception. But the moment they stop putting or placing their trust in Allah is the moment Allah ceases to exist, because Allah doesn't exist. Muslims keep Allah alive mind only when they put their trust in him. And when I seen that, that's when I kind of noticed how clever Satan is, deceptively clever, not in admiration, but in kind of terrified in man, God, thank you for showing me how deceptive he is. Without God, you can't see Satan. You ain't going to be able to see him. He's like a viper in tall grass. And the craftiness, the deception, is like, I have to be we got to be on our A game. Like, you can't sleep on this guy, on Satan. He's everywhere. He's in everything. And when God showed me this, it was amazing. And also too, in Luke 11, verse 17 through 18, um, it shows that, Satan's not divided against himself, right? His house will fall. So if you're on a path Satan wants you on, he has no need to oppose you. So that's what I kind of notice about Muslims. They don't, Satan's not going to oppose them. So, they believe in their Quran, they believe in Allah, and Satan's not going to oppose them for that. So they're kind of like, in their mind, living a life. They think they're on the right path because they have no opposition there. It's not until you start following Jesus, that's when Satan starts to strike, right? So, like I said, if you're already on a path he wants you on, there's no need to oppose you. So, but also too, Muhammad was tricked, obviously, by Satan, disguised as an angel of light, but he also got Joseph Smith years later. And if you read into them, like, they're very similar accounts, almost kind of identical in a lot of ways, and except for, in the Quran, they don't believe Satan. I mean, they don't believe Jesus is the Son of God, and obviously the Mormons, they came up with Satan made the Book of Mormon. But also in the Quran, another deception here is very clever, but also deceiving. Like I said, when I mean clever, like not in admiration, like in this is scary, like how deceptive he is. Deception is believing in something that you don't know is a lie. So in the Quran, first in the Bible, if Jesus didn't come down and lay down his life for us, we would have no way to heaven. So he provided a way for us to be with him again or be in heaven. So had Jesus never came down, I could believe in Jesus all I want and I wouldn't be saved. I wouldn't be able to go to heaven. So he provided a way. In the Quran, you provide the way, right? You believe in Allah. You put your trust in Allah. You do good deeds. It's all you based, which basically makes them God, right? So you basically have, basically like there's no Allah. Like you're in charge of whether you go to heaven or not, which basically makes them God. And that's also like a deception behind a deception. And so, like I said, I thought it was amazing that God showed me this. I already knew it was a false. Allah doesn't exist, but I always thought it was Muhammad who wrote the Quran, but was not Muhammad. Like I said, he was deceived by Satan, and also too, he must have known about Jesus. He must have known about Gabriel because he never questioned Gabriel when he seen that Satan disguised as an angel of light, claiming to be Gabriel. He never questioned him, which means he had to have known about Jesus. He had to have known about Gabriel, and he rejected them because obviously Muhammad wasn't Muslim before his encounter. He was doing something else. I don't know what else he believed in, but so I think that was a perfect candidate for Satan, somebody who already rejected Jesus, and then also somebody from what I heard is Muhammad was a trustworthy person. That's why a lot of people believed him. I'm guessing. So I was like, maybe the benefit of the doubt. That's where I kind of came. God brought me to this. Like, okay, then he must have been, coming up with the farewell sermon where he lied, said there'd be no future prophet, no future new faith, no new prophet. But like I said, that was a lie. So he was lied to. So that's when I started noticing that, okay, there is Satan there. And then when God showed me the difference to trust in and place your trust in, that's when I was like, okay, now I see it, God. So, I hope this helps. And, thanks for watching. And I hope you have a blessed day. And thanks.